We Brits love our Sunday lunch. It's often the cornerstone of family life, the one meal everyone can agree on. And when it comes to Christmas dinner, the stakes get even higher. Cooking it to perfection is essential, but how you plate and present it beautifully should be on your radar too. Great presentation doesn't just make your meal look more delicious and enticing, it also reflects the heart of what these meals are about: family, community and generosity. The way we plate can communicate that warmth and care to our guests and loved ones. That said, let's be honest, Sunday roasts and Christmas dinners come with their fair share of pressure. Sweating over a stove while trying to get everything out on time can make the whole process feel more stressful than joyful. That's why in this video, we're not only looking at professional plating techniques, but also how to make the whole experience as pain-free and even enjoyable as possible. I recently had the pleasure of chatting with Henry from Damson Restaurant in Berkshire on my Food Envy podcast. He's mastered one of the best Sunday lunches I've ever had. We talk about the important elements: placement, shapes, colour, texture, sharing platters, using nostalgia and even the fight over cauliflower cheese. During the demo, Henry plates a stunning roast chicken. But these techniques work just as well with turkey at Christmas, or beef or lamb or any roast of your choice. Stick around to the end for his top tips on plating this meal at home. How to keep everything warm, what to serve when, staying calm under pressure, and quite possibly the best gravy tip I've ever heard, and I'll definitely be using that this year.
Like you were saying, I think Sundays are super communal and we want people to kind of dig in together, pass the potatoes, pass the Yorkshire puddings, whatever it might be. Yeah. But you can plate it, definitely seen it done at places. So this is how we'd serve it at the restaurant, where we would serve kind of the main protein. This one is chicken. So we've got just the thigh and the breast there.
Okay.
We cooked it whole, brined it, and then roasted it just to get flavour into it. And then we've just finished it off. Again, just a little bit of butter, just give it a bit of shine.
Now, how easy is it for the layperson to possibly do the jointing of what you've done there? I mean, I'm sure there's a YouTube video out there.
I mean, to trust a chicken is not difficult. It's about confidence. With all these things, I think it's about confidence and just taking your time. But at the restaurant, we'd plate it kind of very simply, where we would probably we've got the wonderful stuffing here as well, and we'd probably garnish it with just the carrot. That's how it would go out. Yep. Super simple. All your garnishes are on the side, and then it's kind of down to you as the consumer, as the customer, to do what you want to do. If we were plating it, I'm just going to switch this around a little bit. Mm-hmm. So you've kind of got all your proteins there, and we're going to use the right-hand side of the plate for all the rest of the garnish. So we've got spuds are the first thing to go on.
Well, we were just talking about how important spuds are, aren't they?
They are indeed, yeah.
Goodness me, you don't want to get those wrong.
Now, again, this is quite a big plate actually. For a Sunday roast, I want my plate to be kind of piled quite high.
Yeah.
I'm going to be quite conservative with this plating, just for the purpose of aesthetics more than anything. Like, you can go back again and again, whereas you can't take it off the plate and put it back on the plate. So we've got some sprouts there, roasted with some bacon. So we've roasted the bacon off, and then in that same pan, we've put those sprouts in just to beautifully caramelise them off there. Red cabbage, which you probably serve a lot more traditionally at Christmas time.
Yeah. Again, it just adds nice colour to the plate, because otherwise things can get a little bit samey, can't they?
Yeah,
and red cabbage really just pops.
Yeah, absolutely, it pops. And I want to leave a little tiny gap in between all these things just to separate them out. I mean, I know that some people like to kind of cram it in there, but you've got the space here. So we're going to use all of the plate, and then cauliflower.
Well, I think that just adds to the precision, doesn't it?
Yeah, and again with the cauliflower cheese.
Oh my word, look at that.
Aesthetically, I want there to be a little bit of that beautiful kind of caramelised cheese top.
Well, that's the star, isn't it, of the collie cheese, is the bit on top. That's what you fight over.
Yeah, absolutely. And you want people to be fighting over it. So suddenly you've gone from this quite rustic or simple plate of food. Yeah. I'd say that's quite a full plate of food. And I'd always just pour the gravy. So
you would pour the gravy in the middle, hence why you've left the space, because my son gets so cross, because he loves a crispy potato, and my homemade crispy potatoes are actually I'm quite proud of. But the gravy can't go anywhere near it. Whereas me, I just throw it all over, because the gravy again is the star.
That's what I mean. Some people will douse it all in gravy. The reason I've put it in the middle is I can now put what I want to in the middle of that. That's how I would think anyway. I'll pull the potato in, then a bit of chicken, and then the carrot can go in. I mean, some people will not even put gravy on the plate until they start to eat, and I've seen people do it in restaurants.
Those people are wrong.
I mean, I would agree with them, but there's an adage that the customer's always right, and I would go, that's kind of 50-50. That's half right and it's half kind of not right. But yeah, I mean, look, again, like we've said, these things are super personal to people, and you can interpret it many different ways. That's how we'd kind of do it here, and kind of working around the plate and using all of it.
Okay. Now I noticed there's something over there as well. What have we got there?
So the crumb. So basically, what I would do is I would finish the cauliflower cheese with a bit of the crumb.
And the crumb is?
It's a malt crumb. So just again, we've got stuffing here which has been made with sausage meat and some dried fruit, some sage, ties in with the chicken really nicely, but it lacks that Paxo stuffing vibe, and I know that that's super nostalgic for people. I really love it, and so the malt crumb just gives it a bit of that texture of that kind of crispy stuffing, and we put that over our collie cheese just to finish it. Again, a little bit rustic, but Sundays are about that.
Well, I think that's a really nice touch actually, because again, from an aesthetic point of view, you know, it has broken up what is clearly the nicest bit, which is the cheesy topping bit, but it adds more interest to it. And also I imagine the mouthfeel when you eat it is actually elevates it again slightly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a Sunday roast is a real bit, like a mash of flavours together. You've got the cabbage, which is sweet and pickly. You've got the sprouts, which are kind of earthy and super rich in fat. And then you've got the crunchy potato and the chicken and the carrot, which is sweet again. So you kind of, it is so much going on there. So to have something which is going to give it a little bit of crunch, but then also kind of hide everything a little bit, it's nice. Yeah.
Becoming a platist takes time and practice, and it can seem a little overwhelming, especially when it comes to such important meals as the family Sunday lunch or Christmas dinner. If that's you, then why not download my Plate Like a Pro guide from the description below. It's been downloaded literally thousands of times by pros and amateurs alike, and it's completely free. However, if you do find it useful, then a like, subscribe, or a comment on the video would be really appreciated. It'll help this video to be seen by more passionate platists, just like you and me, who find the visual side of food every bit as important as the taste. Thanks so much. So at the restaurant, you've portioned out your protein, your main. You put the carrot on there and you put the stuffing. Is that pretty much what you would do at home as well? And just let people dive in and help themselves, but you have done the main event effectively.
Yeah, I mean, look, make it easy for yourself. Is what it would be my tip, because often you want there's a if you've got a whole turkey or a chicken or a bit of beef, whatever it might be, you want to carve it for the aesthetics of it. I think that whilst that's brilliant and really, really beautiful, when it comes to plating it, you've got everyone sat there waiting for you to carve this chicken or this bit of protein. It's going to take a while, and then, like I said before, you panic. There's a rush.
Stress, isn't it?
You're going to leave so much on the bone. I would always suggest doing that beforehand. You know, even if it's if you do like a rib of beef or something or a sirloin, carve it before you get to the table. Because then I would always have it that hot plates go down, all your stuff's in the middle of the table. You know, maybe put that beef on beforehand, and then people can dig in straight away. You know, again, if you're carving something at the table, everything's going to go cold as well. That's something that you don't think about. But I think that you have to also keep an element of the communal aspect of it. You know, that's what it is about. Christmas especially, you know, you're going to have pigs in blankets on there for a shot. There's going to be Yorkshire puddings regardless if it's chicken or not. You're going to have loads of extra stuff on there. Cranberry sauce, bread sauce, all these things. So, you know, you want to be able to eat for a couple of hours and passing stuff around.
And in terms of when you would joint or when you would take the protein apart, specifically with the chicken, I assume similar with turkey. Because what was a game changer for me when I was learning to do roast dinners and Christmas dinner is the resting time of the whole thing itself is ages. So you can, if you've only got one oven, which I have, you can take it out and bash everything else in, and again, less stress. How, I guess it depends if you slice something or whatever, but how long in advance can you portion it without it getting cold, or would you then re-warm it, would you? Or?
I mean, depends on what depends on the type of meat you're using and the joint of meat. I'd always say if you can, get it so that you're doing it once and once only. You know, that meat's going to dry out realistically from the time it's carved until reheating it. Obviously, if it's a leg or something, you've got a bit more play with it, and also you're going to use the leftovers to make a curry or a pie or something the next day. Try and get it as close as possible. At the end of the day, you're going to have nice hot gravy anyway. It's going to cover it, you know.
That's a great point. You know what? I hadn't really thought of that. Yeah, gravy hides a multitude of things, doesn't it?
And it does. I mean, if you're cooking beef, you know, you want it to be warm, not hot. A chicken's got to be kind of more hot than warm, you know. But yeah, it's all with anything like this. When you've got so many elements coming together at the same time, people often rush because they want everything to come together at the same time, which is what you're doing. But actually, if your potatoes are done and they're hot, leave them on top of the oven. They're going to stay warm and they're going to stay crispy. Your cabbage is in a pot. It's warm. Heat it up. Put the lid on it. It's warm. Sprouts, same thing. Collie cheese is done. It's going to retain its heat for a long, long time. Gravy, warm. You know, the meat is the last thing you should worry about doing, and then you can kind of bring it all together, especially if you're putting it on a table as well, because then, you know, elements start going down, people get excited, oh, the potatoes are going down, oh yeah, the sprouts are going down, the pigs in blankets are going down. I
hadn't necessarily thought about using the gravy to rewarm something, which I think is a great tip, and also pre-portioning just the protein in advance, not in advance, but take that to the table and just let everyone else do it, because we were more like, just do everything at the table, if you see what I mean, which again, as you said,
but also it's passing the plate down, so then having to get you to carve it there when someone's holding a plate awkwardly next to you whilst they then pass that back down. And it actually takes 10-15 minutes for everyone to get a plate full of food. And yeah, it's going to still be delicious because the people were invested in it then.
Yeah.
You want it to be as easy as you can for yourselves, and that really is,
Yeah. Any other tips you can think of in terms of for that sort of larger catering environment with something like this, be it Christmas, be it something else?
I think when home cooks or chefs, however you want to phrase it, are at home, there's a tendency to rush things and there's a panic, and then suddenly you're panicking about taking the washbone out and trust it. You got the time. Just give yourself the time. Give yourself 2 hours to trust the chicken.
Yeah.
You'll do it in a much more relaxed environment. Yeah. Put some music on, which you're gonna, just relax your environment. I think that's for anything. When you're doing something out of your comfort zone, I do it here all the time. We try and do things which we haven't done before or haven't done for a while. Gets you out of your comfort zone. It's a good thing. Sundays and Christmas. If we talk about Christmas, you can do stuff in advance that's not going to harm. Get your potatoes, parboiled off the evening before. What I know lots of people who leave it all to the Christmas morning and they're stressed and panic and stuff. Yeah,
I'm pointing at myself. I do that.
But don't. Like, your carrots can be ready to go. If you're going to just roast them simply, your parsnips, get as much ready in advance as you can. Your collard cheese can be built, ready to go in the oven. That can be one of the last things you do. Half hour, 45 minutes, and it's done. That can be one of the last things you put in the oven. You can pre-make Yorkshire puddings and freeze them. And bring them out the freezer, pop them in the oven. That's what Aunt Bessie does. You buy them in a packet, don't you?
Of course you do.
So why wouldn't you make a beautiful Yorkshire pudding? You can freeze it. Yeah. Of course, making them fresh is ideal, but we're talking about convenience and the ease of stuff. Why add another pressure to yourself? I guarantee you that 8 out of 10 people are going to have a Yorkshire pudding on their Sunday roast or their Christmas roast. So make them the day before, pop them in the freezer, and then bring them back out. Let them defrost, pop them back in the oven. They'll still be as if you've got a good Yorkshire pudding recipe, they will still be as crispy and they will still be just as delicious. Yeah. So,
Fantastic. Brilliant. That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. That is amazing. Bringing the plating skills of pro chef into your home may seem like a tricky task. There's so much information out there about cooking, but very little about the presentation and visual side of food, which is why I've put together the Plate Like a Pro at Home playlist, which you can click on here. There's loads of great info in there about inspiration, planning, prep, and execution. So check it out, and I'd absolutely love to know what you think about it in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.